welcome back to the channel. So today, what are we on with? We have a visitor. So we have Squire Editions coming down. So Squire Editions are a dealer of ours, and they are, as far as I'm aware, they're bringing down a Defender with a GTB 550 and a GTB 450 for fine tuning, dyno runs, that sort of stuff. Ignore my eye, that was Land Rover debris yesterday, which made a mess of it. So yeah, I'm feeling a little bit worse for wear, but we're here, we're still doing it. So they're due to arrive any minute now. But yeah, we've got a few trucks out on display as well. So you've all seen this one. So this is Will's 110. Morning, you all right? Yeah, not too bad. The 90 truck cab, which this is pretty much done now. This is just waiting for a few final details, a couple of little badges and bits and bobs and MOT on that one. This one here is a customer's, so this one came in for intercooler and stage 2, and then the old 110. Workshop wise, what are we on with? We've got the black D2 down the end there, automatic, that has just been recovered from Spain, I believe. Gearbox has gone in that one. We've got the Freelander there for central locking modules. That D2 there has just had gearbox and transfer box. That D2 there, another one with a failed auto box. The one with the failed auto box in there, believe it or believe it not, the customer actually came into us for a rear spring conversion, did all the spring conversion, off he went. About an hour later we got a phone call to say he was stuck at the side of the road, he'd lost all drive. So that's been recovered back in, and that is now done, ready to go. And so is the silver one. So black one in. So yeah, it's been a week or two of gearboxes and discoveries. So we've not had much really to film for you. Right, so we'll await the arrival of Squires, and yeah, we'll have a look around the trucks when they arrive with us. Just a quick one. So as I said before, Squire Editions are an Alive approved dealer. So that means you can go to them for our tuning, you can go to them for our parts and that sort of stuff. And if you don't know, so Alive Tuning as a company, we have a pretty substantial dealer network. And the dealer network is dealers that are selected by us, visited by us on a regular basis, they are approved by us, and they are a way of you as a customer being able to get the Alive tuning and the Alive parts without actually having to come all the way to us here in Lincolnshire. I'm not sure on the end number, but I would say we're getting on for a good 100 dealers worldwide currently. If you didn't know this and you want to find out if you have a dealer local to you, you go onto the website, onto the contact us page, scroll down on the left, in red it'll say find your nearest dealer. That will bring up a map, which then will allow you to put in your postcode, and it'll bring up all of the dealers within 100 or 200 kilometres of the postcode you've put in. So, but yeah, right, we'll wait for Squires to arrive and we'll see what they're bringing us. Right, so vehicle number one is this absolutely stunning 90, so I assume is a 55 plate, it's definitely a Td5. This is fitted with a GTB 550, all ready to go. So it has had a base file fitted to the vehicle when it was initially built. It's now come for us for fettling and making sure that it is absolutely bang on. But yeah, as far as trucks go, it is phenomenal. This one is one of two owned by the same chap. He's got a 110, which is actually already running our 450. Clearly, obviously, a petrol head, diesel head, whatever you want to call them. 450 is a everyday vehicle. That's what he uses it for. This is a weekend toy. So the goal with this is as much power as it will do, while keeping it nice and clean and yeah, reliable is the important one. Right, so what we doing first off? Health check?
Health check, reading the file. Hopefully it's all alright.
I would say so. I mean, the finish on it is
very nice.
Very, very nice. Yours will be like this one day, eh?
One day.
Yeah. It's got all the machined aluminium handles. Do like this. The galvanised with the black. Looks really, really good. I also like the black and silver plate as well. Starting to see more of these now as well. Bigger. What are they? 18-inch. 18-inch wheels, yeah. We've seen quite a few of them with the bigger wheels on. So spec on it, as I said, Td5, Alive GTB 550 turbo. Ultimate intercooler is on there as well. It's got a full Alive stainless exhaust on it. Set of our head studs. What else have we got in here? Yeah, so it's got the springs, the Alive comfort springs, dampers. What else have we got? So we've got the top Alive breather hose. As I said, GTB 550. Alive boost hoses. AMC cylinder head. And I think this is actually a really, really low mileage on this. What's the mileage on this? Was it 80 something?
86, yeah.
86,000 miles. So again, a really, really nice example. So, fingers crossed, this should do some really strong figures. So we'll go through the health check, we'll make sure everything is working exactly as it should. We'll run it up to temperature and we'll do a pulse, see exactly how it reacts currently. So run one done, and we ended up with, turn round, so 217.7 horsepower and 521.8 newton meters of torque. Now everything looked relatively normal. Torque figure, pretty decent. Horsepower, we are way off. Not really sure why, but again, this is only the first revision of the file. So I think Will had mentioned that the MAF sensor on this is a non-genuine MAF sensor, although it's reading correctly at tick over. We're not sure whether that's playing a part on it. So have you just unplugged that?
I've just unplugged the disconnected the airbox and then just
right,
the
so
airbox is restricted as well.
Right, okay, so the other question mark on this is it's a 550, it's running a standard airbox. Although we think it's got a performance filter in there, it's still a standard airbox. So what Will's done for now is just disconnected it. We're going to run it again and just rule out any restrictions in that in the intake side of it. So we'll run it again, we'll see whether we make any difference with it. No real difference with that one. 219 horsepower. It's just done with the air pipe disconnected, so we know that actually putting it back together we have no restrictions at that point. So what we are going to do is fit a genuine MAF sensor. See whether it makes a difference. We think ultimately it may be an injector issue, and the fact that we're getting so far through the pull and it's just not delivering the extra that we require to get to the correct figures. But we've got to rule everything out first, make sure that everything is working as it's supposed to, reading correctly, and and then we'll come to our conclusions from that one. So same again, 215, 220 horsepower. There's an issue, we're just not quite sure what it is. We're going to send copies of all the graphs over to Gary, get him to have a look through them, see whether he can revise the file. Maybe it's something in there that we can tweak a little bit more. We don't know, so we will send it all over, we'll see what comes back, and we will test it again. That's all we can do. Right, so after a few tweaks, dyno runs and bits and bobs, it has been decided we are going to swap out the injectors for another set, which is unusual. With these being a low mileage set, typically we would have expected them to have done really well. The dead giveaway with it is when we put a smoky air file on it, for the reasons of monitoring smoke levels, it gets to a certain RPM and then it just goes absolutely clean as a whistle. That's usually a pretty good sign, even though we're requesting the fuel and we're requesting it to be smoky. If it's not doing it, that's usually a pretty good sign that these injectors aren't happy. It is what it is. Not really a whole lot we can do about it. Luckily, we do have a good used set on the shelf, so we're going to pop these in, see if it makes a difference. At this point, it is a bit of an unknown, and we are just testing different things to see why it won't make the power. You know, even such things as we put a known file on the vehicle, so a file that's been on this type of engine, this setup, and done X amount of figures. We'll even go down the route of configuring that to work on this truck, and we put it on to see whether this truck can do the same figures as what the other one did, or something very similar. We did that, and we found that where we was aiming for, I think it was 246 horsepower, we're still doing 215, 216. So we know that the file is good, we know that airbox is breathing properly, it's working as it should, we know that the math sensor is actually working right, even though it is a non-genuine one that's on this, or an aftermarket one. So the only other option, judging by the smoke, as I've said, it's got to be an injector issue. So we're going to take these ones out, pop a known good set in, run up to temperature, and we will test it again, see if it makes a difference. So we'll crack on with that and we'll see what the outcome is. Right, so injectors swapped, we're just warming the vehicle back up to do another pull with it. Fingers crossed that this is where we've been losing the power, so let's get a pull done and see what happens. so this one here, we've tried a different set of injectors. We have actually gained power, but not a huge amount. I think we're 223 and 518 Newton meters of torque. So torque-wise, it's good, it's strong. Not normally what we see from these. Normally we have a little bit more than that, sort of around the 550 mark. But yeah, we've done that. We've gained a bit of top end, so we know that the injectors that were in it were struggling to fuel at that point, so we have gained a little bit there, but we're still down. We are still down. There is still an issue with this vehicle. We've checked the timing on it. We've also noted when we took the rocker cover off that there was quite a significant amount of scoring on some of the rockers and on the cam itself. So, well, I don't believe that that's going to cause a lack of power. Obviously the engine is unhappy. So the customer is going to take the vehicle away. They're going to address the issues with the cam and the rocker assembly. They're also going to double check to make sure that we are running the correct head gasket on this, and report back to us. So it will leave here with the mapping on it to do the figures that we are initially after. Not doing them currently, but fingers crossed we get a phone call in a week or two to say, actually, you know what, we've changed these bits and it is a lot stronger. Be nice to see it back on the dyno, but unfortunately this one has come a long way to us today, so it's not something that they can just pop back and do. So we're going to road test this one, make sure it is working as it's supposed to, and then from that point we'll put the Discovery 2 on that they've bought with us. So we've got a Discovery 2, if I can find it, I think it's parked out here somewhere. So Discovery 2 Td5, and this has a GTB 450 fitted to it. So should be a bit more straightforward. But again, really nice, clean example of one of these. So, general use is a tow vehicle for the company, but also the boss man's shooting truck, I think, by all accounts. So, same with that. That has had a 450 on it for quite a while. It has been tuned remotely previously. It's just here, so we can put it on the dyno, we can dial it in, and we can make sure that everything is working as it should be, and then also make sure the tune is the correct for what they're using it for, which is very similar to our 110. They do a lot of towing with the vehicle as well. So let's get this one unstrapped, get on the road, make sure it works, and on to the next one. So pretty decent figures from this one. GTB 450 on this, so 196.4 horsepower and 464.1 Newton meters of torque. Now typically these are a 450 Newton meter turbo, hence the GTB 450. We have been seeing quite regularly somewhere in the region of sort of 500-ish from them. So we are going to tweak this one, see whether we can get a bit more from it. I think it could do maybe with a little bit more lower down. I think that'll be a benefit for it. But like I said, I think this was one of the very early GTB 450s mapped remotely again. So this is where the benefit of putting it on the dyno really does play a role with it. So we'll send the info over to Gary, get a map tweak for it, upload it and run it again.
go. So 209.5 horsepower and 463.3 newton meters torque.
Oh well, nice and clean. Little to no smoke at all from it. And like I say, this one predominantly is going to be, or it is used as a tow vehicle. So it's important that we're getting that torque in, we're getting in nice and soon. Right, so there we go. Reasonably successful day. Very, very happy with what the Discovery 2 did. Really, really strong figures for a 450. The Black 90, obviously, as I've said, wants a little bit of fettling. There's something on that that's holding back the power. Initially, obviously, thought it was injectors. We did game with the injectors, but not like we would have expected to. So we will, yeah, I think they're gonna revisit that and come back to us, and we'll see whether we can find the missing power with that one. But all in all, decent day. Can't complain too much at all. We do have another one which has arrived, which is this one here. So this one is actually another customer's truck. Quite unusual, this one. You'll probably see this at some of the shows. So point the camera in the right place. There we go. But we will discuss this one a bit further at a later date, because like I said, there's a lot of stuff on that build that we can go into. But for now, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.